start of the show. Welcome your hosts, Caddy Frank and Aaron Fitzgerald, as they lead discussions about substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Well, hello. Here we are again at Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution from Minnesota Recovery Connection. I would like to have Aaron give us some thanks on some things.
Absolutely. Good morning. Special thanks to our generous funders, including the Patrick and Amy Butler Family Foundation, Otto Bremer Trust, the Sauer Family Foundation, the Hardenberg Foundation, alongside our other many foundation, corporate, and individual contributors for making this podcast series possible. Thank you.
And thank you very much. You know, we can't do this without having some funding, without some support, without listeners. Hello, listeners. Let us come.
That's
Let
right.
us listen to us because we have things to say about recovery.
Yeah, we're a nonprofit organization. We love donations.
We love donations, but we also love our listeners, and we are so excited to
For
be
sure.
here. So, Miss Erin,
Mhm.
let us start off with the show. What is right with you today?
What's right with me? Oh, man. Oh, I know what's right with me. Soccer practice started yesterday for my little fella, my 4-year-old. And guess who's coach? Me, which is fun. It's not my first time coaching little humans in soccer. But before I did it solo. And this time I said I will not do that because I love children and one-on-one I'm very well, or like small groups of them. But like communities of children, I'm like, I don't know what to do with you. How do you herd these kids and allow them, like make them listen? So thankfully, my co-coach is not only a father, but a teacher. And man, he's got some really good tricks. So that's what's right with me. He knows how to handle children.
Herding cats.
Yeah.
That's what little children are,
Yeah,
are herding
4
cats.
and 5-year-old kids, yeah. It's good.
Wow.
Yeah. What's right with you, Miss Caddy?
What's right with me? I'm sitting here with two amazing humans, and you're about ready to hear from another one. Let's see. I am in the class right now training a bunch of amazing people from the bilingual community speaking Spanish and English. We are teaching the Recovery Coach Academy to be peer recovery specialists. And oh my gosh, am I learning a lot. I'm
Yeah.
actually like recognizing words in Spanish to English.
Sweet.
I even tried pronouncing them a couple of times. That was an epic fail, but I tried.
Yeah.
So what's right with me is that we are a world of many different cultures. And one of the things that happened yesterday when we closed down the class was that recovery is for everyone, regardless of where you come from, what language you speak, anything. So what filled my heart was the fact that I am sitting with some beautiful people who want to help their community, but that's not their community. It's our community.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just what is so right with me. And I got a good night's sleep. That
Good.
was amazing.
Yay.
Yay.
I just want to recognize too that this is like an inaugural training. This has never been done. Excuse me. So it's really exciting to be training in Spanish.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's absolutely the first. We have a learning curve. We have a wonder what we're doing next curve. But what the fabulous thing about it is that everybody is seeing that recovery can look different because we're opening up eyes.
Mhm.
And that's exactly why we're sitting here. So I'm going to look to my left and I'm going to ask Justin, what is right with you, my friend?
What's right with me is just taking or just looking back on the way here, like driving up the way here, I just had this sense of just like I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I'm not really content, but I'm almost getting there. And I'm just truly grateful for uh, just all of the opportunities and just all the change that I'm seeing in myself these last couple of months, just by being in the community.
I love it.
That's about as good as it gets right there.
Yes. So we didn't even introduce you, Justin. Justin Fuller Green from Minnesota Recovery Connection. Would you introduce yourself maybe with your elevator speech and tell us what your role at Minnesota Recovery Connection is?
Yeah, I can do that for you. My name is Justin Fuller Green. I am a peer recovery specialist at Minnesota Recovery Connection. And what I do at the Recovery Connection Center is a lot. I have been helping out with the volunteers. I've been helping out with the Walk for Recovery. I just did a flyer for the Pride Fest because we have a table out there for the end of next month. As well as today, I got my first referral to contact a participant and see if they would like services from us. And so far, the initial contact went good, but the participant basically had to uh, have me call them back because they were like on the way out of town today.
Excellent. That's
But
good though. So right now, are you just started as an intern recently?
yes, ma'am.
Right? You were a volunteer
Mhm.
and then an intern, and then now Minnesota Recovery Connection has decided that we like you so much, we want to hire you. How did that process look?
Uh, to be honest, I really didn't think. Well, I had like a little bit of an idea, but I didn't really think it would be this quick.
Welcome to the recovery world.
Yeah.
We move at
Mhm.
lightning speed sometimes.
When you got good energy, we
Mhm.
want to bring you in. You got good energy, man.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
So yeah, so came in as as a volunteer. You came in as an intern. Which program were you part of that got you into your internship? Because I want to give some
Oh,
kudos.
yeah. I like to give a shout out to Twin Cities Rise
Mhm.
because they helped me a lot with just making sure that I had the confidence and the skills to be job readiness out into the world. Regardless of my justice involved background.
Nice, nice. So they recognize you as a human, and they want to give you the opportunity to move forward, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that is what we do in the recovery community.
Mhm.
And that's what we've recognized in you. And here's this young man who comes in who's just full of life. And I remember when you first started, you'd be sitting at our front desk and I'd say, Justin, how are you today? And I'm lovely. I'm wonderful. And I'm like, this is somebody we need to keep around because that's what recovery can do, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to give you an opportunity to kind of tell us your story about your journey. And you are not from Minnesota originally. So, welcome to the northern part of the United States where we say you betcha and oi and boat and all kinds of things. And eventually you might catch on to some of this language. So, Erin has got the idea of how she wants to run this particular conversation because she's got Justin here. So I will give her the mic. But what I want to say is this opportunity to talk to somebody from the community who represents a different voice is why we are here. We are here to hear all voices in the communities of recovery, and we are here to build bridges with all communities. We have to remember that addiction doesn't give a hoot who you are. Again, I avoided a bad word there. But the interesting part is that we can recover, but we have to be given our voice. And that's one of the things that I'm taking away from this class that I'm doing with these Hispanic community, with the Latino community. And that is there's a woman in class who literally had not had a voice for a very long time. And she's saying a lot. And sometimes when you're in class and you've got somebody with a bigger voice, it can take over. And what I have to recognize is that because she was not given a voice for so long and endured many, 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 and much mistreatment, that this is finally her space. So I just encourage everybody who is out there in listening land, talk to people. And then those who are talking, please listen to those who are talking, because those of us who are in recovery, maybe we've not had a very strong voice. So I just want to just say thank you to everything that I get to do. And I've got two beautiful people here who will listen to me and I'll listen to them. So we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back and hear Justin Fuller Green's story. Thank you.
Hold on. Here we go. Right
Welcome back to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. I'm Erin Fitzgerald. Across the table from me is Miss Caddy Frink.
Howdy.
And also joining us today is Justin Fuller Green.
Hello.
Yeah, from Minnesota Recovery Connection. And I'm excited to have you here today. First of all, because yesterday is when I found out that you have gotten a promotion because we have a new intern replacing your internship. So congratulations. Caddy was just saying before the break, when people start using their voices, their lives can change. And I don't know if you have just recently started using your voice in recovery and just grown very quickly within our organization, but you have grown very rapidly within us. And so I don't know, using your voice works, I think. That's what you did. Minnesota Recovery Connection, anyhow. So good job.
Excellent job.
Thank you so much.
So why don't we have you begin your story? Now, Erin, you were thinking about Justin to come in there was a story you heard and you thought, ooh.
Yeah. Well, you are not from Minnesota, and recently you were on vacation back home, correct?
In New Orleans.
Or in New Orleans, so you were on vacation. Well, you can tell your whole recovery story, but there was something that happened to you while you were on vacation, and I thought that was just an interesting story and how you handled it versus things that could have happened. So I don't know if we want to start with your story in general or with that particular story. What do you think?
Why don't you talk about that incident that you had, and then you can dial us back to where did your journey start in your substance use and then came into your recovery and then brought you to Minnesota. So that little story, I think, is a great way to describe to listeners what we have to manage when we are living a life in recovery.
Yeah. I remember I set up a plan for me and my girlfriend and her family to go to the Jazz and Heritage Music Festival in New Orleans just for the weekend. And that week, I had to pick up my Suboxone because I had to take that to, function, I guess, sometimes. And what caught me off guard was they made me pick up my whole take homes a day earlier than what was needed. So I was taking some of my medicine here when I should have been taking it all in New Orleans. And I kind of was running low and I kind of had to improvise and just gradually, incrementally take the medicine enough to where I don't feel like I'm in full blown withdrawal, because I just didn't want to, be a burden to anyone while I was there, because I understood that they're there to decompress and stuff, and I just didn't want to be in the way. So I just had to just be in my room, and I just missed the whole day, but I powered through it and enjoyed the rest of my weekend,
Nice. So let's do a little quick explanation about Suboxone and why you take it and the amount of doses that you take, because there's going to be a lot of people listening who are like, Suboxone, huh? And dose, huh? And why would I have to do that? So why don't you give a little bit of a description of where your recovery started and what Suboxone is to you. So start with your journey of use and then get to Suboxone, and then that way give us a little bit of
okay.
description, okay?
Yeah, I can actually start you off. So about almost 4 years ago, um, I I kind of started picking up using opiates, um, because I was going through a death in the family,
Mm.
and uh, typically that's how I guess I would cope with things back in the day.
Mhm.
Um, but I knew that things were going to get worse. And they were, uh, to the point to where it went from, you know, prescribed to straight level, to now I know for a fact I'm getting fentanyl, you know what I mean? But
Mm.
um, my ego just was too big to even, notice how bad my body was at the time. And it really just took, honestly, me running out and my girlfriend um, basically just getting on me and just really, really showing love and support that I really haven't gotten from anybody else. And I truly, truly thank her today for that.
Mm.
Um, because I remember one time we were having a conversation, we were arguing about my use, and I flat out told her, I think I'm gonna die like this,
Oh,
like,
darling.
yeah,
Ouch.
yeah. And she was just like, no, you're not, because she didn't want to lose me, and I know I didn't want my family to lose me. So
I thank her for that.
Very much.
Yeah.
Strong woman.
Mm-hmm.
strong-willed for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Got goosies all over.
Mhm.
And so I initially went through my first withdrawal once I ran out, and 50% of me was just like I could, call up, all of these negative influences and just do it, that way. But in the back of my mind, I just know that it's just a never-ending cycle
Mm.
of using, not only just to use, but using just to live, And I think that's how serious it is when it comes to opiate use. But I I don't know. It was just something different. It was something in my mind that was saying, you know what? Call up a local methadone clinic or Suboxone clinic. Now, mind you, this is at 2 in the morning.
Wow.
Um, and I'm in and out the bed, I'm puking, and I'm just to the point to where I'm making my girlfriend, she's losing sleep, But I ended up getting in contact with them at 5 in the morning. They said, be here at 6. And I got dropped off, and I did my first intake, and they said that you're going to be on Suboxone. And that's what kind of got me to stop using opiates and to really like change my life, because I was seeing myself uh, pretty much in a negative light. I didn't see myself going anywhere, especially
Mm.
with my use. And I felt like I was going to drag her down with me. And I didn't want to do that because she was going in a direction that was the total opposite of, doing the right thing
Mhm.
when no one's looking, and just always just being so nice and genuine and just so sweetful to everybody. To where me, I was just on a self-destructive path. And
But she saw you,
yeah,
and she saw you, and she loved you, and she connected.
yeah.
She said, "No, man, I know who you are."
hmm
Yeah.
And I think what I'm hearing in that is that you saw yourself, you were at that point. You were at that, I could go and call the old folks and get the stuff, or I could start that withdrawal process. And that's what you were going through when you said that you were throwing up and you probably felt like absolute crap.
Yeah.
But you started making phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the morning, and you found some place that said, get in here because we can give you a medication prescribed that will help you take that craving away and also not feel like crap right out of the gate, right?
Yes.
So I wanted to kind of give a little bit of context to when you're sitting at home and you're feeling like crap. It's not because you're just feeling bad, it's because the opiates are coming out of your body and you've been putting them in falsely, and your body at that point is craving them, and that crave feels horrendous. I've never had it, but I can see just in your eyes across this table, that is not a pleasant place to be.
I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
Right, right. So you got the Suboxone, and where did we go from there?
So amongst all of this, I also had some legal trouble pending, and I just knew I had to get right with the legal system in order to get myself right, because the plan was to move up here to Minnesota. However, I know for a fact that I couldn't do it illegally, because that's just bringing up a whole bunch of drama. So I ended up started working. I saved enough to get a lawyer. I got a lawyer, and he says that um, we can work with you by trying to get you back on probation, because I was, I don't know what the word is, but I kind of went on the run and was doing my own thing and not being compliant with probation at the time. But I had to pay the money, and I had to see a judge. The first time she saw me, it was quite a scare.
I
But
bet.
yeah, but she was just telling me, you were on the run for almost 2 years. Why is it right now that I should let you walk out those doors? And
Ooh.
what I told her was that I am really trying to make a change for myself. And also I'm really trying to just be like a really motivator for change
Mm.
in other people. And she said that she would like for me to complete ILP,
Which
and
is,
intensive outpatient program.
thank you.
My fault. And as well as I had to be compliant with my fees and everything, as well as I had to go. I had to s- um, go to AA meetings and have to have a someone sign off on it.
Hmm.
You know, and I was doing that. I completed IOP. I was, going to my meetings and everything. And I went back for my second time, and then she said, "I'm going to put you back on probation." So ultimately, the process kind of had to start all over, because I had to get a new probation officer.
Hmm.
However, I was just like, I'd rather take that than being in jail or in prison. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. She gave you an
Um,
option.
yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's a really important part in this. And that is, when you have a justice involved background, you made this conscious decision to say, I'm going to do, air quotes, the right thing, but it's going to be a lot of work. But you stuck with it. And then you found what is going to work best for you. And so the story continues.
And I was going to my meetings. I ended up getting a sponsor, and we actually worked the steps. Um, and I actually ended up getting a couple sponsees,
Mm.
um, but I was just really focused on just trying to be, like really good in the eyes of the law.
Mhm.
Um, there really wasn't any. I said the only big challenge was just payment,
Mhm.
because it would just be like I get paid on Friday, and pretty much all of my checks going into probation, so that I can be compliant again, and not be behind. Um,
The justice system really likes their money.
Yes.
They make sure that you are paying for
yeah,
your indiscretions of
yeah,
your substance use.
paying my dues, as I say.
Yes, for sure. Excellent.
And I ended up paying the rest off. And to be honest, I think just how my character was and how I was coming just really set me up apart and different from like your typical probationer, because I gotten off a month early, um, which like really made things in my head of me coming here to Minnesota like really happening, because I needed to get up here because I was just really tired of Texas, and I was just tired of just the life I was living, and I just felt like there was, more opportunity up here, and I'm starting to see it.
Mm. You know what's interesting is that how many people have we known that have wanted to do the geographical move,
Mm-hmm.
but they are still in substance use, thinking that if I make that move,
Mm-hmm.
it'll all be different.
Sure.
But you did it a different way. You did it in recovery, and you did a geographical move. What brought you to Minnesota? What was that about?
My girlfriend actually brought me here because she's from St. Paul. Uh, we met a couple years ago. I actually met her while she was working because she's a chef.
Mm.
Yeah.
Where?
Right now she's cooking for our participants at the Emily program.
Oh, wow.
Neat.
Recovery again.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
So,
that's so cool. Is she in recovery? Or
no,
you guess I don't have to say
no.
that.
But she's a
Okay.
woman who's helping the recovery
Yeah.
community in
Oh,
every way.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. She wants to
Love our allies.
volunteer for the Pride Fest as well as the walk.
Sweet.
So, yeah, I'm just trying to get her to apply on the volunteer page of mrc.org.
Nice.
Excellent.
Nice. So the
Maybe
gal
sometime.
brought you to Minnesota because she's a Minnesotan.
Yes.
And how has this been for you?
To be honest, in the beginning, I was in my head on the way up here from Texas was like things are gonna be so different. I'm gonna get a job quickly. I'm gonna get, everything's just gonna like just everything's just gonna like fall into play. Oh, my fault. And come to find out, I get here and things are ran by the book. For sure.
We like to do things sort of in a real specific way, don't
Mhm.
we, up here?
I'll have to say the right way
Oh,
because
tell me
yeah.
more. What is the right way?
Well, in Texas, it was like I knew people that got hired who didn't have a license, who didn't have proper
Ah.
identification, the proper, and in Texas, it's way more easier to get a job if you have a justice involved background.
Mm.
They just make you like an independent contractor,
Ah.
But here it's like we want you to do everything by the book when it comes to applying for stuff. You're
Yep.
gonna have to go through that background check, you know
Yep.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept getting a lot of no's in the beginning of places that I was trying to apply. And then it kind of hit me. It was just like maybe the places I'm applying isn't, where I need to be.
Mm.
So I actually was in the process of also looking for work. I was also just trying to volunteer to, to make just to get me out of the house,
Mhm.
and just to get me hopefully within a recovery community. And I ended up meeting you lovely people at Minnesota Recovery Connection.
How did you meet us? Where was? Did you just come in to volunteer, or did we do an outreach, or where'd that
Um,
connection come in? I'm curious.
no, I found you guys on the internet, and
The
it
lovely
said
internet.
that I could sign up to volunteer. I was calling you guys up and was saying, "Hey, I want to do this," as well as the Recovery Coach Academy that I saw, but I just needed to um, get my hours up a little bit.
Right.
And they were just like, you just need to apply on the portal, and you should have a Zoom volunteer orientation in a few days. And then I got put on doing administrative front desk stuff.
Woo! Where
And
Mr. Happy was up there smiling all the time. Well, what were you going to say, Erin?
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just listening. I
Yeah?
like it. I was just because we just liked you so much, and then all of a sudden we were like, "How would you like to do this with us also?"
Yeah.
And
So
more.
we were sort of initially you're in as an intern, and you're a volunteer, then you're an intern, and then we're like, Justin is really amazing. And we had this situation occur with one of our grant opportunities, and we're thinking, maybe Justin would be perfect for this, because there are opportunities that happen in our recovery community that they need a specific substance use to be able to work with communities, right? And that's one of the reasons where we had sort of thought, ooh, Justin, let's get him in because he has an opiate use background.
Mhm.
And yeah, you know what? Having a substance use disorder can actually get you a job,
Yeah, works.
just like having a justice involved background in our world can get you a job. And so here we are where that kind of didn't work out the way we anticipated, but what did work? What are you going to be doing for us, Justin?
I'm going to be a peer recovery specialist,
Certified.
certified, yes. And I'm gonna try to gain a lovely caseload of lovely participants, and I'm just gonna be working with them with the peer-to-peer support.
Nice, nice. It's just we're looking at Justin like we're both Aaron and I are staring at him as this marvelous human on the other side of the table. Like we're just so excited to have you.
Yay. Yeah, totally. Because when you were an intern, I was like, I jumped on you right away. I was like, you're the guy. I need you. I need you to help me because you've got this like personality that people just jive with, you know? So now that you're going to be on the team for sure, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just an exciting the world that we live in that we work in is something that is, it's very I don't want to say volatile, it's very just it's always moving. It's always shaking. I've got another individual that works at our organization and I think she's had 3 job opportunities in the 1 month that she's been with us. But just because things change, particularly in a small organization that's nonprofit, somebody decides to leave the organization for all the right reasons and an opportunity shows up. And that's kind of what happened with you. Aaron, what were you going to say?
Oh, well, is Justin going into our new Alina facility? Is that our goal with you?
I think it's going to be one of the spaces that he might begin to pick up participants. Yeah.
I got to see that space today. I did an
Tell
outreach up
me.
at Alina. I'll get back to that in one tiny second, Justin. The space is really great when you walk into that Unity. Um, what is it called? The Mental Health and Addiction Center.
Yes,
Alina
very
Mental Health
good.
and Addiction Center. And so we've got one room there, and I got to go and do some outreach. And I just love going there. The people there just have such a good vibe, and we're so excited to have um, several community organizations in that space,
Mhm.
and having somebody with just different kinds of backgrounds and, justice involved in different substances and such. But what I was going to say then about Justin is clearly you would be a good candidate for that position because you're kind of by yourself and you have to be a go-getter and you are that for sure.
Yes, you are a total motivator
Right.
and motivated.
Yeah.
And that's you know what? That's what it takes to be successful in this work because you have to be a communicator.
Mhm.
And Justin, you are a communicator. He's done outreach, he's done connections with other organizations. Give us an example of one of the outreaches that you've done and what that felt like. You and I went on one. What was that like for you when you did that one with me?
I think it was really informative as well as resourceful to the people that were in attendance to outreach.
Mhm.
And um, I feel like a lot of people, I feel like their questions were answered, but even after, we had a lot of more people come up that were really, I could see in their faces that they were really interested in not only volunteering, but just being in the community,
Mhm.
and just being around like-minded individuals that just want to see you do better.
Yeah.
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 I
And I
like
think
when people have questions.
Yeah.
yeah,
Means
it's so
they're
helpful.
excited and they're paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can see that light go off in somebody's eyes because Justin and I were at this particular outreach, and as you said, they came up and they started asking questions, and we're like, "Oh, there's a glint there." These are individuals that are possibly in their very early recovery and still kind of in that call it that maybe that hurting time where they're just still trying to come out of this fog of
Hmm.
substances leaving their body and maybe pardon me, that was a frog in my throat. Um, and that, there are times when we can connect with people at their most vulnerable and then their most receptive, but you never know where you're going to be.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you did your outreach. That was today with
Hmm.
Unity. How many folks were in your outreach?
There was 10 today.
Nice.
Yeah. I like
Nice.
that. And they're very excited that we're going to be right there in the building with them.
Yeah.
That's going to be really great.
Yeah.
Not a drop-in center, folks.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we want to make sure that we understand this is not a drop-in center. This is a place where we have to have a formal referral, but we will help you in any way that we can. And if you do come in and you're an individual that is struggling, it's not like we're going to kick you right out the door, but we're going to find out what's going on and how do we take next steps.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that that's very clear. So we have just wrapped up this marvelous conversation with Justin, and he's going nowhere. So we still have another little bit of time with him. So when we come back from this next break, we'll continue the conversation, and maybe we'll just find a new direction to go in this conversation. So thank you.
This guitar needs 6 strings.
Segment 3.
Gosh, I love that music. It just makes me just kind of, everybody's here is just kind of jamming their head. It's just fabulous. So we're back. We have a bit more to talk to Justin about. We were just talking about how we're going to take this next conversation. And we have a gentleman who has struggled with substance use. He has found his recovery. He's got an opportunity at Minnesota Recovery Connection that's just going to rock the recovery world. I know it. But then there's also the family behind Justin. And maybe what has that experience been like in terms of where you were, where you are, now you're in Minnesota, maybe the fam is still in Texas. What does that look like now? How has that journey been for them?
It's been really good. From what I'm hearing from my family, from what it used to be little to no contact, to be honest. Especially when I was uh, in my addiction. But through all of the beautiful changes that I've made, the relationship is just really, really good with on my mom's side. Because for a long time, I really didn't have a relationship with my mother's with her parents, because of just the lifestyle that they live is just very theological. I don't have to say. And they would just they used to see me as the black sheep of the family. And just the other day, I'm talking to my mom, and she's telling her mom about all the beautiful things that I've been doing, and my grandma says that she's proud of me.
Those are powerful words.
Haven't heard that in a long time from her. So it really just meant a lot to me, because for a moment, even while I was getting my stuff together, I really thought that they were just about to be no contact with me. And it would just be a thing of I would have to relay whatever message through my mom, you know. But my relationship with her, my mom is great. And with my siblings, it's really, really great. They now see me as an older brother instead of, what the example of not to be growing up,
How many siblings do you have?
I have two. I have a younger brother and younger sister.
Wow. Okay.
Actions speak so loud. Yeah, your positive actions. And I love how you said the beautiful changes that you've made, not just the changes you've made. Yeah.
And, is there any other substance use in your family that you know of? I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah. My granddad, he is an alcoholic, and to be quite frank, I really wanted to be like certified so that I could, take a trip back to him and just to like let him know like things can get better.
Wow.
And even at his age, like it doesn't matter how old you are, like you can make a fresh start. And
look at those goosies, man. I just
that
love
is
that love.
beautiful. Because recovery can happen at any age, and even if this fine gentleman, excuse me, another frog, this fine gentleman might not find complete recovery or sobriety, but to have a young grandson come to him and say, "Hey, I've been able to find a sober and now a life in recovery. And I just want you to know I'm just here to listen. And what would that sound like for him? What would that be like, do you think? You coming to him and saying, I just want to be something different with you.
I truly believe that he would listen, and he would listen instead of hearing me,
Mm,
you know?
wow. And maybe he needs to be heard too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Because sometimes I think one of, like I said, the thing that I experienced with this class is that sometimes people have never really been able to say what they need to say because everybody has told them, Grandpa, I'm really tired of you doing whatever, or you just accept it and maybe he acts inappropriate, or maybe he just goes into a room someplace and nobody's ever walked in and said, you drink because you drink, but you want to tell me why? And maybe somebody of an age might not, but actually maybe it's like you could have a different kind of a bond because I get it. And maybe I don't know if you can get it, but maybe we can have a different kind of conversation. That would just be monumental. Okay, you got to keep us informed on this one, okay?
Mhm.
I will.
Awesome, awesome. So what's your experience been like in Minnesota? We got a couple more minutes that we can just sort of what's it been like to be in the north versus the south?
I love it here, to be honest. The weather is different. It's way more greener. It's not as hot. And it just seems to me like it's so spread out here to where like you could take a weekend or like a day and just drive somewhere that you've never been to. Like I've been doing with my girlfriend, and we just go to a restaurant or go on a hike, you know what I mean? Just getting out of the house and just checking some place that I've never been to. It's
Mm,
just a warming experience. And every time we get out the house, I'm just always happy.
that's amazing.
What are you looking forward to this summer?
Uh, she said something about the quarry, so I was just like,
Oh,
might have to check that out.
okay.
To be honest, I want to do a lot of fishing.
Ooh,
What kind of fishing do you do? We just had opener,
Had what?
Opener.
fishing opener. You
Oh,
probably don't even know what that means.
I mean,
No.
I just, country back of the back
Mm,
of the creek fishing, I'm just there.
make sure you get your license.
Yeah,
Oh
you got to
yeah.
get a fishing
Yeah.
license. Yeah. See those rules that we have here in Minnesota? Yeah, you got to follow them because you don't want to get busted out. I mean, it's like they're not going to like come crashing down on you, but yeah. I mean, we are the land of 10,000 lakes. So there's a few fish that
Yes.
are ready to be had.
Did you have an opportunity to try ice fishing?
Uh, no. However, me and my girlfriend would like to try it. We just got to get a little money to get the proper equipment so we don't freeze ourselves out there. But
Oh, highly recommended.
Yeah.
yeah.
I could see you digging that.
Yeah, for sure. And you can just, rent those things too.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can
Oh,
just
The
rent
little
rent
pop-up tents.
rent up
yeah,
to
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And probably I'm sure on a lake someplace that's like, for X amount of dollars, you can come in for a couple hours or maybe a day or something. It's just so exciting to see somebody who comes from, a very different climate come up
Mhm.
here. And I'm like, what has this been like? Now I know winter is not going to possibly be
Oh
your
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
time,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's when you go ice fishing or
Mhm.
you go skating on an ice. Skating
Ska-
on a lake or something like that, or go sledding or something like that.
Mhm.
Oh, how exciting. How exciting. And you get to do it and you get to do it in this clean mental space. And that is the beauty of what recovery can look like, but it is a journey.
Yeah, and enjoy and just remember all of it. Soak it all in. That's so good.
So Erin, you were just saying when we walked in, you've got a couple opportunities coming up with harm reduction. Why don't you let the community know what's going on and then we'll close this beautiful show up.
Oh, just some training
Yeah.
opportunities? Oh, well, I do have a training opportunity at our office that's coming up on the 30th and 31st of May if folks want to sign up for that. But somebody from Violence Free Minnesota reached out, and I'm really, really excited to start teaching in that community of folks because again, the intersections of substance use disorder, they just don't end. So domestic violence and
Yeah. Harm reduction is Erin's jam. And so what we want to do is, let people know that when we practice safe and we practice understanding and we can walk into reducing the harm in many different ways
yeah.
to humans, things can get better,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to take time and it's going to take understanding. So if you're interested at all, you can go to minnesotarecovery.org and look at harm reduction, and Aaron Fitzgerald will be your facilitator.
I'd be happy to do that.
So we're going to close out the show. Justin Fuller Green, thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And what a delight. What a delight. So join us in supporting our mission and maybe becoming a monthly or annual donor at any level that which is well for you. Or you can come and volunteer at Minnesota Recovery, just like Justin did, and be happy behind the desk, and maybe opportunities will become a flurry on you. Your engagement helps us sustain these efforts in fostering recovery and resilience. Visit minnesotarecovery.org, click donate and or volunteer, and be sure to listen to our show on any kind of app you got, because we're out there in the world. Thank you for being here. Justin, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Aaron, say whatever you'd like to.
See you guys. Thanks, Justin, for being here. You're great.
Thank y'all.
Bye.